I'm Dr. Balaji Narayanaswamy Ramanathan. This is my channel, NNRSTR School of Wisdom. In this channel, we have discussing various topics on truth and consciousness on different angles. Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad, Vedam, Theosophical Society, Jiddu Krishnamurti, and lot of things we have done. And today, part of daily reading, we will be reading from Jiddu Krishnamurti's Think on These Things. So, it's from page number 193 regarding the purpose of learning. The heading is Purpose of Learning. And whatever Jiddu Krishnamurti or the books which are available, it's not actually a book. Speeches given by Jiddu Krishnamurti. So now, before going through what Jiddu Krishnamurti has told, let us see what is purpose of learning. So, what is learning? Beyond for us, the term is very simple. Learning means, normally we say that knowing something which we still don't know. That's what we say in learning. And what is the purpose of learning? Purpose of learning is very simple. We are not contented with the current situation, and we want to improve the current situation through learning, either be in spirituality or anything. Even in spirituality, why people listen, why people read spiritual book and speeches? Because they think they are not complete. So they want something more. So this is what normally we say about learning. And what is the purpose of learning? To improve. In spirituality, we all search for bliss or peace, which we have not attained so far. So we want to attain it, for which we learn. So this is what normally as a common man, we used to think, or we can explain to someone who's asking this question, purpose of learning. Okay, this is our view or a common man's view. Now, Jiddu Krishnamurti, who is termed as the world teacher, we often say that if you take Ramana Maharshi and Jiddu Krishnamurti, no one has ever dared to challenge both these personalities. Because if you specify anything, you specify any religious book or any god or masters, people will ask different questions. You say Madame Blavatsky, you say Alcott, you say Leadbeater, then people will go on start talking about the negative things and all the other things. And no one is an authority, but even then, since Jiddu Krishnamurti is called as the world teacher, we can go through what he has told. And if Jiddu Krishnamurti has written anything as a book, there is a book called as Notebook, which has taken from his diary. And that is the only thing written by Jiddu Krishnamurti. All the other are speeches given. Similarly, Osho also, he has never written book. He has also given speeches. And people have compiled these speeches as books. And most people think that they have written books. And both the personalities have told that never write books, because that will spoil another person. And they say that never listen to another person. You will become a second-hand master. So these are things are there. Then why the learning is there means, because whatever we have occurred, we have to see whether that matches. See, if someone is giving a metal and if we want to test whether it is gold or not, then we need the help of a goldsmith. And he will scratch it and see, and he will say this is gold. And that was the purpose of learning that we understood. And now we'll see what the world teacher says about the purpose of learning. I'll be reading it. Are you interested in trying to find out what is learning? You go to school to learn, don't you? And what is learning? Have you ever thought about it? How do you learn? Why do you learn? And what is it that you are learning? What is the meaning, the deeper significance of learning? These are questions asked by Jiddu Krishnamurti. Now, in the introduction, we have told certain things, and we have to go back and see whether we have answered these questions. And if at all answered, then we have to see whether that matches with what Jiddu Krishnamurti says. You have to learn to read and write, to study various subjects, and also to acquire a technique to prepare yourself for a profession by which to earn a livelihood. We mean all that when we talk about learning, and then most of us stop there. As soon as we pass certain examination, have a job, a profession, we seem to forget all about learning. What Jiddu Krishnamurti says that we entered into school, we entered into college, we acquired certain degree, and after entering into a profession or job, are we learning anything? We have to ask the question. But is there an end to learning? We say that learning from books and learning from experience are two different things. And are they? Here Jiddu Krishnamurti says that learning from books and experience is it one and the same. We can take one example. We can learn swimming by a book. And by experience can we swim? No. And a person who knows to swim, he need not learn the theory also. From books, we learn what other people have written about sciences, for example. Then we make our own experiments and continue to learn through those experiments. See, it's very simple. If a liquid is given to us, then if we want to know whether it is water, we have to test it in a lab and see that we cannot test it and see that it contains two components of hydrogen and one component of oxygen, then it's water. And we also learn through experience. At least that is what we see. But after all, the fathom the extraordinary depths of life to find out what God or truth is. Now we are coming to the crux of it. Jiddu Krishnamurti asked to find out what God or truth is. The purpose of our channel is also to explain truth and what is God. Here he says, there must be freedom. There must be freedom. And what is freedom? See, we are talking something which is beyond time and space. Which is beyond time and space, which is unthinkable and unexplainable. So if we go on say that we have read the Upanishad and we know the Upanishad and Veda, and that is, there is nothing more to learn, then that is not freedom. That is not freedom. And through experience, is there freedom to find out, to learn? They ask the question, is there freedom to find out, to learn? Page number 194. Have you thought about what experiences it is an experience? Say for example, if you ask someone, are you doing meditation? He may say yes. Then you ask, do you have any experience in meditation? And some people say that we have experience. We hear certain sound, we see something in the meditation, a lot of things they will say. It is the feeling in response to a challenge. Is it not? To respond to a challenge is experience. And do you learn through experience? When you respond to a challenge, to a stimulus, your response is based on your conditioning. And that is the point. See, when someone says that he is having an experience in meditation, how can he say that that is an experience? Because he learned in some book, and someone has told that if you do meditation, 7 kinds of things will come to you. Be vigilant. So that is mere conditioning. And that is self-hypnosis on your conditioning, on the education you have received, on your cultural, religious, social and economic background. You respond to a challenge conditioned by your background as a Hindu, Christian, a communist or whatever you are. If you do not break away from your background, your response to any challenge only strengthens or modifies that background. See, whatever he says that if you are attached to any organization or religion, then whatever things come to you, you always image with whatever theories you have learned and you practice in that religion and in that organization. Hence, you are really never free to explore. So, what is happening? We will not explore anything because we say that we know everything, and that stops learning to discover, to understand what is truth, what is God. This whole journey is to understand what is truth and what is God. So, experience does not free the mind. See, whatever experience we pretend to say does not free the mind. And what is mind? Mind is the bundle of thoughts. Daily we used to go through 70,000 thoughts. The whole task is to make the mind zero. Go beyond the mind. And learning through experience is only a process of forming new patterns based on one's old condition. And where do we learn? We learn from books. And books from whose experience? The author's experience or the world's experience. I think it is very important to understand this because as we grow older, we get more and more entrenched in our experience. Hoping thereby to learn. But when we learn, but what we learn is dictated by the background, which means that through the experience by which we learn, there is never freedom, but only the modification of conditioning. So already we are conditioned and we are not satisfied. And what we are not satisfied? And we have been conditioned to a destination and we want to reach that destination. And that's not freedom. Now, what is learning? Coming back to the question, now what is learning? See, why people see, if you go through spiritual people and you ask Jiddu Krishnamurti, 99% people will say that is useless. Because he's not suggesting anything. He's beating around the bush. That's what they say. Then why is called the world teacher? Because only few people can follow. And the crowd cannot approach Jiddu Krishnamurti. And that we have to be very sure. This man is telling something which the common man cannot understand. Now, what is learning? You begin by learning how to read and write, how to sit quietly, how to obey or not to obey. You learn the history of this or that country. You learn languages which are necessary for communication. You learn how to earn a livelihood, how to enrich the wheel, and so on. But is there a state of learning in which the mind is free? We are talking about a learning where the mind is free of the background. A state in which there is no search. See, for example, if we are looking at a flower, are we looking at the flower? No. Then we start to name it. If we know the name, then we will say this is rose. Then we will match it with the roses earlier which we have seen. And that goes there. So what is happening? There is no freedom even in seeing. When we listen also, we are not purely listening anything. We are conditioned. When a person talks, we say this is right and this is wrong. Based on our condition. A state in which there is no search. Do you understand this question? What we call learning is a continuous process. It is a continuous process. That everyone admits. Learning is a continuous process. What is it? Adjusting. What is adjusting? We know. Resisting. Adjusting means we match whatever we want, we think which is right. Resisting. Whatever we think wrong, we resist. Subjugating. We learn either we will avoid saying this is wrong or to gain something. Now, is there a state in which the mind is not the instrument of learning? And there is a state in which mind is not the instrument of learning. That is the important thing which is trying to say. Through mind, you cannot learn truth. You cannot learn God, or you cannot learn consciousness. Now, is there a state in which the mind is not the instrument of learning but of being? Do you see the difference? This is the basic difference. We try to learn spirituality through mind, but it is beyond mind. As long as we are acquiring, that's why it says freedom from the known. Freedom from the known. As long as we are acquiring, getting, avoiding, the mind must learn, and in such learning, there is always a great deal of tension, resistance. To learn, you must concentrate. To learn, you must concentrate. Must you not? And what is concentration? And before going through Jiddu Krishnamurti's version, we will see what is concentration. What is concentration? People who do research, they start with a hypothesis. And some will reach to the end of the research and find out. And only for such people concentration is there. That's what we understood by concentration. But what Jiddu Krishnamurti says about concentration, we will see. Have you ever noticed what happens when you concentrate on something? See, people when they start doing meditation, they will say, either feel your breath, or see some object, or close your eyes. Concentrate on something. When you are required to study a book which you don't want to study, or even if you do want to study, you have to resist and put aside other things. Even for a simple process of reading a book, or listening to a talk, or to give a speech, you resist the inclination to look out of the window or to talk to somebody in order to concentrate. So to concentrate, what we'll do? When we're reading book, someone makes a noise, then we are disturbed. So we need concentration even for reading a book. So in concentration, there is always effort. So in concentration, there is an effort. That's very important. Here, normally used to say this is an effortless thing. It's an effortless thing. Is there not? In concentration, there is a motive. In concentration, in research, what is our motive? We want to find out the result of the hypothesis. An incentive. And after attaining the research, we'll get PhD, we'll get doctorate. And that's the motive, an incentive, an effort to learn in order to acquire something. So we all learn because we think through learning we will get what we are searching. That is truth, consciousness, God. And our life is a series of such efforts, a state of tension in which we are trying to learn. And that's what normally we say, go on, learn. But if there is no tension at all, no acquiring, no laying of knowledge, is not the mind then capable of learning much more deeply and swiftly? Then it becomes an instrument of inquiry to find out what is truth. It's an inquiry, what is truth? What is beauty? What is beauty? These are simple terms we know, we think that we know, but actually we are not aware. What is God? Which means really does not submit to any authority. Any authority. Whether it to be the authority of knowledge, whatever we have acquired through book or speeches, or from the society of religion, culture or condition. You see, it is only when the mind is free from the burden of knowledge, we have already told, is a no man's state. Whatever we are acquiring is through our five senses, that it can find out what is true. And in the process of finding out, there is no accumulation. There is no accumulation, is there? The moment you begin to accumulate, the moment you begin to see, even if we are seeing a nature, we are seeing a sunrise or sunset, actually we are not seeing it because we want to accumulate it. Because I have seen a great experience of sunrise or sunset. I want to picturize it. I want to put it in the YouTube or maybe in the Facebook. Then I want to remember the same thing. Then we will say that I went to Himalaya. I saw the sunrise. It was something beautiful in my life experience. I went to Adayar Theosophical Society. I went to the sea. See, these are all things we have accrued or we always want to accumulate. The moment you begin to accumulate what you have experienced or learned, it becomes an anchorage which holds your mind and prevents it from going further because it limits there. We think this is the ultimate. And in the process of inquiry, the mind sheds from day to day what it has learned so that it is always fresh. See, learning, we should be always fresh. We should not say that I know everything, I'm stopped reading, I'm stopped listening. That's not there. That is condition. Uncontaminated by yesterday's experience. Everything is fresh. See, now just watch through the window and watch the sky now. After 5 minutes, this is not the sky you are seeing. Every second it is changing, but we are not ready to see it because we want accumulation, we want conditioning. We are self-hypnosed or self-hypnotized by the conditioned mind. And it is the freedom from the known. But we always go behind reading, acquiring, arguing, and saying this is right or this is wrong. Truth is living. It is not static. It's not static because it is beyond time and space. It is limitless and boundless. And the mind that will discover truth must also be living, not burdened with knowledge or experience. That is the beauty of life. Then only is there that state in which truth can come into being. So only that state the truth comes. So through the mind, it's not possible. All this may be difficult in the verbal sense. In the verbal sense, it will be difficult. But the meaning is not difficult. The meaning is not difficult. If you apply your mind to it, to inquire into the deeper things of life, the mind must be free. The mind must be free. Another thing is we always compare. Comparing comes in separation. In separation, conflict comes. But the moment you learn and make the learning the basis of further inquiry, because what happens is everyone stops at a particular stage and he says why we should read, why we should listen, and why we should learn. He says, making the learn on the basis of further inquiry, your mind is not free. You are no longer inquiring. So this is what is called inquiring. In this inquiring process, what will happen is, it's like peeling an onion. You go on peeling an onion, end of the day there is nothing. See, it's like a person searching for a treasure all over the world, and the treasure is the truth and consciousness or God, searching for God. And end of the day, you'll come back like peeling of an onion. It's nothing. He comes back to him and he finds out there is nothing other than him. So, this is the way the learning process should be there. It's very simple. I don't know what is the difficulty in understanding Jiddu Krishnamurti, because people have made it so confusing, and because the person who is talking, he has no understanding of Jiddu Krishnamurti. And further, this people, I have listened many people, they say that You cannot explain Jiddu Krishnamurti. Even Jiddu Krishnamurti says that my speeches should not be given. And Jiddu Krishnamurti says, even no one has improved by listening to me. See, that's okay. That's okay. Why? See, we have learned spirituality and we know what you call Upanishad, Vedam, Bhagavad Gita, everything. See, even this learning process, you take it from Bhagavad Gita. What it says? It says, there is no right or wrong. Be like a tortoise. Don't put your head out. That means no mind state. Sthita Prajnan. They say Sthita Prajnan. There is no right or wrong. There is no heat or cold. You take anything, you take any literature, everywhere it is mentioned. Even if it is Jiddu Krishnamurti, Osho, Ramana Maharshi, who talks, you just take this learning. What has Ramana Maharshi told? What has Osho told? Same thing. Same thing. But followers of Jiddu Krishnamurti will not accept this. They say that Jiddu Krishnamurti is the only person. See, that is a cult. That's what Jiddu Krishnamurti says. Organization is a cult. Because you will be a slave of someone. And you say, this is the master. He is my master and he is my God. No, but that is true. That is true in dualism. But in monism, that is different. So whatever Jiddu Krishnamurti is talking about is monism. Or it can call be Advaita. And this is the way we have to approach. It's so simple actually. It's so simple. Anyone who knows English can understand it. So, thank you very much for listening, and those who are not subscribed may subscribe and kindly click on the all button so that they can get the notification when I give a new lecture. And if you think will be useful to someone, kindly share it in the other groups also. Thank you very much.